Very good.
Let me make sure I know what episode number this is supposed to be.
12, I think.
I think you're right. And this thing's not online. Of course it isn't.
Wait, or 16, 17 minutes for it to restart.
Yeah.
Slowly coming back on.
It's okay. We have nowhere to go.
Incoming transmission. Initiating data compilation protocol. Compilation complete. Enhancing. Initializing data playback. Code alpha. Begin playback.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Big Giant Head Podcast. Episode number 12, to be specific, for Wednesday, January 24th, 2018 this time.
2018.
Last episode, I said 2017.
We did it last year.
Yeah, we jumped back in time.
We jumped back in time.
Yeah, but today is correct, and we're not invalid anymore.
Yes.
So,
we didn't buy
the other one doesn't exist anymore. It just vanished.
Just vanished. It's off. It's gone. Didn't buy any lottery tickets when we were back in time, unfortunately. That should have been our first task. Like, really.
And a sports almanac.
Yes. Talk to Biff.
Yeah, exactly.
Come back.
Give me that thing.
Talk to it.
So I'm joined with Tim again. I'm Matt.
Hello.
We are your hosts. And
Yes.
what are we?
We're doing
here
well.
today?
We're going to talk about a couple things today. One is the process, or at least some of the ongoing stuff. We were talking a little bit before the show about the process of getting on, which is now weren't able to do it before, but I can announce that Boss 101, the game that Donnelly Time Foundation, the company I work at,
Yeah, you got some announcements.
finished. Yes, Boss 101 will be coming to the Xbox One.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
We've been in.
Finally got the dev kit shipment
Got the
notification.
dev kit shipment notification, got legal documents signed. So for everybody that's ever considered this, one thing that can happen, I shouldn't say that this is the only way this could ever happen, because as we also discussed, and we'll go into this later, if a company likes you, all doors open, all gates are flung wide
Yes.
apart for you to walk
All is
through.
forgiven.
Yeah, all is forgiven. You're carried around like heroes returning from a victorious campaign.
Yes,
So,
on the backs of the serfs.
yes. So what had happened, and again, this is mostly for people that are wondering if they're working on an indie game, how they could possibly get onto a console. Well, we applied to Nintendo, Sony, and we applied to Microsoft. Microsoft replied to us the day that we wrote to them. So
Immediately.
within 6 hours.
Boom.
They liked it. I mean,
Yeah.
now that's what you want to hope for, which is somebody there likes your game. And
Yeah.
I guess somebody did like Boss 101.
They know what's good for them.
If they know what's good for them, they're going to like it. And we had sent them the videos, screenshots, Steam keys, and the game was finished too, so that does help. But they replied and they were like, hey, we're interested in bringing this to Boss 101. Let's get the legal documents started. The process of, and you need to have your company sorted. In other words, it needs to be an actual company with
An entity yeah.
because they want all that information right away. And you need, obviously your bank account. and stuff.
Legal.
Yeah. You must be part of the
Entity.
Federation. You cannot
absorbed
be,
into the ranks of the. Yeah.
Yeah, can't be in some isolated compound. Like, they will not accept.
My company's me.
Yeah, my company's me, and I got a Walmart check card. Like, that ain't gonna do it.
My mom said, yeah.
Yeah, as far as I have a little sign on my bedroom door that says I've got a company.
Yeah.
Like, that will not work. So, had it all set up, and it took us a month to get all the legal documents out of the way. And during that month, and up until even this weekend, it really was advised by them to not talk about it too much. In other words, until the documents are signed and ultimately until the dev kits are sent.
But now
The dev kits are in process and on the way. The legal documents have been signed. We've been approved, basically, to announce the game on Xbox. So all that stuff's out of the way, but it took a little while. It was over Christmas, mind you, so that's part of probably why it took so long. But yeah, so it's very exciting. Very excited about getting Boss 101 on the Xbox. Have no idea what that's. We'll probably talk about it on this. Like, what?
Yeah.
The next time we talk will probably be sort of a breakdown of how the kits and what we needed to do. Right now, we have no idea. We have
More of nuts and bolts.
Yes.
And tears.
Yes, we got the letter.
Incoming.
Yeah, there could be some tears because they sent us the dev kits, and You also get access to Microsoft Studio, like I think a copy or a working copy, so that I believe that's the interface, which is their, sort of, I think it's like the programming suite, their thing. So that's probably
like the new updated generation, generational jump of X and A or whatever the hell, the old one where they're like, we're not supporting that anymore. This is the new.
Yeah, this is the new way. So that is one of the things that was sent. So not only are we getting 2 dev kits, I think every independent developer is eligible for up to 2 dev kits free.
That's a screaming deal.
It's a great deal. It's a really good deal. Really, Microsoft wants something to happen with developers. They're like gunning for indie developers to kind of go exclusive with them, and hopefully that's, for anybody listening, hopefully they give it a go. I'd recommend it. It's all the signups there on their page. It's very easy. You have to answer, maybe about 20 questions. It'll take a little while. If you have a press kit ready to go, you're pretty much just copying your press kit information and like, here's what my game's about. Trailer, there's links for trailers. There's, you can send a build to. They have ways to send builds to them if you don't have your game on Steam, or if it's just a demo or something like that, you can send that to them. All that stuff's there. Really great stuff. They were super nice about it. But you're dealing with just a giant corporation, so you got to expect there's going to be some. And I had it, just some little. I don't even say it's hiccups, but just these situations where. You imagine it's like the Chinese Whispers game. Everything is slow, like it's just a
Chinese Whispers.
Well, where you go like, hey, I need this thing done today, and then somebody else is like, you need something done in play, and then somebody else is like
telephone.
Yeah, telephone tag. It's like it's exactly.
I've never heard it called Chinese Whispers.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's a new one on me.
Yeah, it's
what is this commie Chinese Whispers?
Telephone tag. It's a telephone game, right? When you talk around the room, it takes. And
and it's a completely different thing by the time it gets back around.
Yeah. Well, yeah, or it just gets lost completely.
The horses need to be bathed.
Yeah, like how did that start? But yeah, when I worked, if anybody knows, I'd worked at a corporation. I worked at Sony, and it was similar to that. You can, for things to happen, you have to be really, really, really on top of stuff. And Microsoft is, to their credit, we had a direct contact group that we dealt with, a production group. And they were on top of everything. We'd send a letter, and we got replies within hours normally, the day at the most. And I mean 1 business day at most. And so that was a great experience. And I'm looking forward to doing this thing on bringing Boss 101 to the Xbox One. I feel like that's maybe.
So give me a reason to buy one.
Yeah, I'm really like.
I'd like to get it on Xbox One.
Yeah,
that's the one that's been the one holdout for me. For whatever reason, this console generation, I have been buying them.
Yeah,
this hasn't happened to me in a very, very long time. Like I just recently went back and got a PlayStation 3. Like
okay,
the last up to date thing I had really was a 360.
Yes, that's the last console. The last console I bought was a PlayStation 3, which I bought after the 360.
Yeah.
And I was sort of just bought it for Uncharted. That was it.
Yeah.
In fact, that's all I have on it. I think I only have Uncharted, and I think I got Last of Us.
And Demon Souls. Maybe.
Wait, which was Demon Souls is the first one, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, I played Demon Souls on my PS3. But Dark Souls I played on my Xbox.
Yeah.
And Dark Souls 2 I played on the PC, I think.
So that'll be a reason to get fucking Xbox One if you if you haven't yet.
Get an Xbox One so you can get Boss 101 on it. Yeah. And ideally it's going to be. It's all going to go over smooth. And it's so interesting because, we talked about, like, we also released a couple weeks ago on Boss 101 an update that gave a new shooter game in the arcade. And then we're working on...
A much more just pure arcadey...
Pure arcade. It's basically...
Top-down shooter.
Yeah, if you think of shooter, this is like an 80s arcade shooter. It's just...
It's 1942
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Little rocket shooting ships, and that's it. It's very basic. The one thing about it, though, is it is entirely... dodgeable. Like everything in it, you can fly through,
and not get hit.
Yeah, we'll share a little secret with these people listening because they get to know. The way it's been programmed is
you get to know.
Yeah, you get to know. There's effectively there's an invisible path. Well, it's visible if you turn on this certain debug mode, but there's a invisible path that allows you to fly through everything, and everything will avoid that path.
Okay.
It can get tight, but it's there. And you could effectively fly.
But the width of your hitbox is always...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's never...
It's you could...
Intruded upon.
Correct. You
completely.
Could... If we turned the AI on automatic to follow that path, it would never get hit and the game could run forever. And
Okay.
and this is every bullet they could fire. There will never be a time you will get hit. And the game has been set up so that it will always be the same game every time. So
Okay.
you can learn the pattern if you want.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, all the random stuff has been removed.
That's kinda
in
neat.
that. Yeah, we took out every random thing. So there's no RNG stuff at all. Like it's all pattern. So you could learn the whole thing if you want.
The exact opposite.
Exact
Boss
opposite of
101.
Boss 101. Boss 101 all has a lot of random stuff that happens.
But I'm actually a fan of RNG kind of stuff.
I like it too. But we had a couple people that, I'm
Shooter purists.
shooter purists of a very extreme version of a shooter purist. I'm going to make them up. We're just, this is not every shooter purist or every shooter lover is like this. But yeah, the purists would not appreciate Boss 101. It's too RNG for them. They would say it's,
And you have a life bar and
life bar, upgrades, all those things are just not really the game.
RPG elements.
Yeah, not a story. It's like, why do you wear hats? This isn't a shooter. This is some.
Shut up! Give me a nondescript flying machine and point me at the bad guys.
Give me a weird looking arrow-shaped spaceship and facing bug-like enemies and lots of explosions.
Occasional bomb pickup and
Yeah, when I blow up the boss, everything turns into coins and I pick them up. That's what I'm talking about. And I watched. So. Point is, Boss 101 now has a shooter, a real pure shooter in it, and that's also in the Zazmo arcade pack, which we played this last week.
Yeah, you did your very first Twitch stream
with you
last
Friday, and that was the first time the Donley time, Twitch/Donley time.
Thank you, everybody who knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And you can find it. But we did that, and you know what's funny? Sales of Boss 101 were high that day and that weekend because of that. I think
Really?
That night and the next couple days, it sold better than it had sold in quite a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Directly, I assume it was directly related to that. I mean, unless
Maybe.
Well, it was Friday night. I mean,
Yeah.
it specifically started Friday night and then it went through the whole weekend. So it was like, that's weird. Like,
Well, that's cool.
that was great. I was like, this
Yeah.
is awesome. But that was great. So, and the Zazmo arcade pack's coming along too. That's another one I'd love to see going to console. Like, I'd love to. What we're going to do now is, it's 5 games, right? 5 arcade games, and we're going to start sending it out to publishers for consideration. And this would be, maybe they're going to give us, I don't know. The hope is somebody picks it up. I mean, we're going to publish it ourselves regardless. If it comes to it, we'll publish it ourselves. It'll go on Steam, and then it'll probably go on Xbox One. But if somebody picks it up, then maybe they can help us get a marketing boost. That's really what we'd love to see is some oomph come out of that. So,
Yeah.
but we're
Want to see Zazmo generate some Zazmo.
Yeah, we got to play a game because we added in ricochet shots and guided bullets.
I saw that. You streamed last night too, and I
Yes.
was watching some of that.
Dude, the guided bullets are awesome.
Yes.
They're so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Pulling off trick shots around corners and stuff, and
It
they
is-
have a really neat bend to them.
Yeah, we're gonna add weapon trails so you can really see the
Oh,
arcade.
okay.
So it'll really make it look a lot better. Like it's gonna be really, really, really crazy. So yeah, it's really fun. Like I was surprised at how fun it was. Like I thought, that's actually quite it's quite entertaining. Like it's and same thing with the ricochet. And you could have ricochet and guided shots. Like you can double that, and you can do auto guiding or manual guiding. So it's just there's all these
Manual
crazy
guiding.
Yeah, manual guiding.
Oh my God.
You can steer the missile yourself. It's fantastic. Like if the guy moves a little and jukes, you could like just zero in on it. It's really fun. Yeah, you can have it can do a pretty decent curve. You can't manually go any. The manual and the automatic limits are the same. In other words, the turning is the same. It's just you can control one, and the other one is like kind of tries to find that guy. But it's fucking awesome, the ricochet. And you could set ricochet for, I think, one wall bounce.
Yeah.
2, 3, or 4. So it can go up to 4 bounces.
The longevity of the bullet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So 4 bounces. It's insane. Like that is a nutty thing. I think we set it to 4.
Yeah, when I played it with you, it got very tense because I was like, are those my bullets or are those his bullets?
Yeah, you don't know. I think we made
Just shit bouncing around all over the screen.
Josh brought up like, maybe we should have different colored bullets. I was kind of a little like, who cares? Make it wacky, but maybe we will. It's some of this.
Yeah,
stuff,
I didn't think it was a problem.
Yeah,
I kind of enjoyed the chaos of it.
Oh, another thing based off our gameplay, bullets can shoot bullets now in head to head. Only in head to head. So you could do a matrix. You could basically if you're good, you can hit the other guy's bullet and stop it from hitting you.
Okay. All
Your
right,
bullets
yeah.
can hit their
Yes,
bullets.
Yeah.
So they cancel each other out.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's
That's
awesome.
kind of neat. Yeah.
That's super
You
fun.
can like have a standoff. You're like,
Yes. Yeah, first guy that messes up is the guy that loses.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. Like all that stuff
It's like
is
sword fighting with
super fun
with
stuff.
bullets. That's neat.
Super fun stuff. So yeah, the tank game is really just coming along. Mazerd has we added some like a Bomberman bomb that happens. So if you stand still too long now, the wizard,
if you turtle up.
Yeah, the wizard spawns a bomb that like does that Bomberman thing where it goes through all the corners.
Oh yeah,
It'll like go around corners and stuff.
Goes down. The flames go down the tunnel.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now you can't sit still. The thing we were noticing, and this is the reason it's there, is that in co-op play, you can, even in single player, you can get into a little cubby hole and just sort of like bunker
Back
up.
to back and
and really like have a huge advantage. But now you can't. You cannot sit there. We give you a little bit of time. You could do it for a little bit, but you have to be on the move, and that's part of the risk of the game. Is that we felt it was getting a little too safe. Like two guys in a little corner can do a lot of damage. Like Joshua and I, without really trying, got a score well over 70.
Jesus, that's a lot for that game.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, one kill is 1 point. So
Getting 12 kills in that game makes you feel like you've been at it for a while.
yeah. And then I thought there was a time I thought 20 kills was a fantastic score, and then
Yeah.
we saw somebody online I think has 60 or 70 now. Like that's
just
on
some weird Mazard genius.
Yeah, I don't even know how they did it. Like it's nuts.
I used to be the world champion in Wizard of War.
Yeah, now I'm just
Now I'm a Mazard master.
I doubt that guy could get a score like that the way he did it again, because it's set up now. You can't just roll through that crap. Like you're gonna get destroyed now. Like you're just gonna get wasted. But it's Mazard's great.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite games in the original Boss 101 arcade cabinet.
I love that game. Last Stand.
Last Stand is one of my new favorites too. I had never played the original that you're
Last
facing.
Stand is we're adding some stuff to that too. Like there's a big AI pass to claim, but I love Last Stand. I still do love it. Like we had a game.
It feels great. If when a
wave comes in.
so Last Stand is based on Ripoff, which
The arcade game ripoff from 1980.
yeah, and there's a pool of gems in the middle of the screen.
Yeah.
and you defend your gems by shooting enemy craft that come into the screen and pick up the gems and leave with them.
Yeah.
And when you run out of gems, it's game over.
Yeah.
What's great about it is the swarms of enemies come in from a section of the screen. It feels like a TIE fighter swarm or something.
yeah.
You're like shooting them down and
Yep.
trying to manage the situation.
Well, it's crazy because we're doing some things like to make it. There's a real good sense, and also the way they steal the gems. It's just a fun.
There's a good flow to the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like a really fun game. Like it has like a really. All those games are just like super super fun and super cool. Like that game, I thought
Solid. They're all incredibly solid.
because they're the first, like they're kind of this first generation of 2-player games. Almost like when you get it and you think, wow, man, this is a incredible. These have some. We're adding features to all of them to kind of differentiate them too. We're not, just none of them are straight ports. Every one of them has something different that's just sort of been our twist on it.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is just it's making the games fun. Like a lot of it is finding that little twist. The combat game, man, you can't go wrong.
Most of
with
them have that resurrection thing if you're playing co-op.
Oh yeah,
They've got
all the co-op games. The only co-op games that don't have resurrection, or there's Breakout. You can't die in Breakout, so you can't, or break down, I should say. You can't die in that, so there's no resurrection. But in Last Stand, you get unlimited lives, so there's no resurrection. But all the other games in co-op mode have resurrection. So in Mazard, if a guy dies, you can resurrect him. You can go over to him, press Y, it'll resurrect him. You gotta
Walk
hold
over
it
to
down.
the corpse and hold
Walk
down
over
the
to
Y
corpse.
button and.
Yeah, if you do it in tank game, same thing. You can go resurrect them, and it really adds a lot. Like the tank game with resurrection is a lot of fun. Like that is.
Yeah, that one. It feels like the integration of that mechanic into the loop of that game
really
is
works.
perfect.
Yeah, it just that game got kicked into the stratosphere when that happened. I feel like that was the one that made me go, okay, this is amazing. Like I really really like that.
Yeah, there's such a trade-off there. Where it's like, do I go resurrect my friend?
Yeah.
Or do I take out the tank? Or do I kind of bait the tank into wandering around and then go for my buddy who's needs to be resurrected and do it before the other gates open up and more tanks come out. So it's all timing, just like how you choose where you're shooting.
And what's great about it, and this I feel like that that's maybe something we could talk about. Like I feel like that's the hallmark of a great game where you get different feelings and types of play all in the same round. Like in the tank game, you get a situation where you're beating on enemies, But then when your friend dies, you've suddenly got a different goal, and it just switches so instantly, and you're just like...
It turns the whole thing on its head.
Yes, and you're suddenly thinking like, okay, now I've got to get over to him and somehow stay alive long enough, not get killed.
Yeah, make sure the bad guy's not near his
Yes, and then not
dead
kill... If you kill the
corpse
last
or whatever.
bad guy during that time, like, you know, you're progressing, your friend's on the other side of the screen, he's killed, there's a tank in between you and him. Well, you've got an option, and it seems unintuitive to do this, but actually probably the best thing to do is let that last tank live and bait it to circling around the long way so that you can go resurrect your friend, allow him a little breathing space and get going. The temptation is to shoot that last tank and just charge
then
for
go
your
for your
friend.
friend, yeah.
But what happens is when you shoot the last tank, all the other tanks respawn and come out, and you're suddenly faced with a situation where both of you guys are going to get pinned.
And now you're by yourself.
Yes. You're by yourself trying to get to your friend, and there's like 3 or 4 tanks barreling down on you, and they're all firing shots like crazy. It's great. It is a really, really... We got very fortunate.
Such a simple thing, and then
Super fortunate.
and then
Yeah.
you play it, and it's like, oh,
Yeah,
why isn't every game like this?
But all the games, Rob's Adventure, the shooter has, which is the shooter, it has a resurrect thing in it too. That one is, I feel like we're going to add some stuff to that just to spice it up because it needs a little something. Like it needs a little bit of something because I feel like it's missing a little. But it's again, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's, you know what it is. The games are really breaking out in their own way, so they're kind of turning into like games that I like or don't like. But they aren't bad games. They're just a game that I like or don't. Like the shooter, I just don't. I'm not a huge pure shooter fan, like a pure pattern shooter fan. So and Rob's Adventure is really well done, but I'm like, whatever.
You need some guys that do loops or something.
Yeah, they need something, and and they don't, and it's like, but it's a good game. It's not like it's bad. And same thing, you know, I love the tank game. I love Tank and I love Mazer. Those are like my favorite games, and I love Breakdown. Is ridiculous. Breakdown co-op, I can play that all day. I don't know.
That's a Zen game.
Yes.
That's a game where you just kind of get into this mode where you just can't stop and you don't understand what's happening outside of the game.
Well, because you completely focus on the game and there's so much craziness happening every few seconds.
It's like a Bejeweled experience or something.
Yes.
Where you're just like, I'm just gonna play for a little while. Then the building's on fire. Hold on, let me just get some more points here.
Yeah, we originally weren't even gonna do all of that. The Breakdown game, the reason you know power-ups happen and just crazy time and all this stuff flies down. Well, that was all from the reason it looks like that now is because that's what it looked like when we were testing. Yeah. And Joshua had the power-ups turned up high so we could just see if they worked.
And I kept it.
Yeah, we played it, and I was like, "This is fantastic." And he's like, "Oh, it's just ridiculous." You know, it's like kind of a ridiculous thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he wasn't objecting to it. I don't think he ever said like, "Let's not do it." But I think it was sort of like, "Well, that's sort of our testing thing. Why would we have it like that?"
Right.
And I'm like, "It's fucking awesome. Like, it looks
fun.
Great. Super fun. Leave it." And we did. We left it. So it's still got the same crazy power up spawning. Originally, though, the blocks had a lot more hit points. I think they used to have between 1 and 9 hit points. And if you think about it, that's a lot. Like
that's a lot to break
9
down.
hits on a breakout thing is a lot. Like I think the max one now is maybe 5. I don't even think there's
5. Okay,
maybe. I don't even know if there is 5. Most of them are like 1.
I was going to say 2.
Yeah, most of them are 1 or 2. Maybe they're even 2. Like, but I think there are ones that are a little more. But it isn't like before. Like before, you pound on those things forever, and you're just like. It was like handball. Like I'm just like, this is not fun. Like it's too much. Just too much.
Oops, I missed. Especially if I just have one.
Yes.
One block up.
Yeah,
there.
you're
trying to hit to get the
so
right
bad.
trajectory.
It's not fun at all. Not fun at all.
Sitting there for hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what you have now is amazing, and you can do verses where you have the two lanes.
Yep, and you can cause
barreling down on top of each other, and it cause more of a fall on the other guy.
The better you do, the bigger
worse
his.
They're good.
Yeah, when he gets a drop, like when there's a timer that every time the timer hits 0, it drops 1 level for the bag for everybody.
Yeah.
It drops, so the timer hits 0, everybody goes down 1 level. However, if you do really well, you fill up a meter, and the meter can fill up to 10 levels. Now, if you fill it up to 10 levels, and that thing hits 0, he's going to drop 11. So it's
Oh my God.
1 plus
Yeah.
the 10 that you add to it.
You better have like nothing there.
Yeah, you better have a pretty clear swing. Now, what the hope is, of course, is that you get him in a bad situation and create
But the trade-off is that they have more blocks and therefore more chances to get
like if he's
the
on
super,
a tear,
the super balls and
yeah,
all
like
that
a
stuff.
lot of times that can turn around really fast because
Yeah.
he could be in the middle of a supercharged moment and 10 rows drop down all at once, and he'll just end up clearing it almost instantly and giving you 10 rows. And you're just sort of sitting there going, okay, I just screwed myself because now I'm in a bad spot.
It's a good trade-off. It's well
super
balanced.
fun.
Yeah.
Super fun. Another fun game. Like those 3 games, I think, for me personally, my taste, Breakdown, Mazard, and Tank Wars are the games I like the most. Rob's Adventure, and actually I do like Last Stand a lot. Like I like it a lot.
Last Stand is one that I wasn't familiar with the original concept, and then I played it with you, and I was like,
it's good.
This has turned into one of my favorite games.
It's a very good game.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly good game. Like it's one of those games that I think that and a few other games, they never got their due. Like they just sort of came and went really quick. And
again, I think you can attribute that to the title of the original,
Rip-Off
which is
is
Rip
not a
Off.
good name.
Yeah. Who wants to play Rip Off?
yeah, Rip-Off is just a bad name in general. Nobody. Well, the other thing is, I believe.
I'm gonna name my arcade game "Fuck You in the Ass." How
Yeah,
about that?
like it's just it was a bet. I remember like this would have been, I think Ripoff was 80 or maybe a little before, and I remember being a kid. You know, I would have been maybe 14 at the time.
Yeah.
And I think I would have basically not been 8 or 12, 80. Yeah. So either way, but point is, when I played that game, it was only fun when I played with a friend, and nobody really wanted to play it because the mechanics of it weren't arcade friendly. Like you had unlimited lives, which was a good thing, but the stealing of things was not a concept that was easy to understand because those things in the middle were effectively your lives.
Yeah.
And it was very easy to get killed in that game, and it still is very easy to get killed. Like, and you just sort of, it throws you off when you're getting killed a lot because you're like, I stole a gem. And when you had 2 guys that were good, it was a very fun game. But if you didn't,
my first session with you, we lasted quite a while.
Yes.
We were down to like 1 gem, but
when you get down to 1, it is last
had
stand.
our last stand.
Yeah, you're really gonna have a last stand. Like you're just like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, and
we lasted for 15 minutes or some ridiculous thing.
oh, it's fantastic. Like it's a really fun. Yeah, it's just a fun thing. Oh,
It's the original Horde mode.
oh yeah,
much.
it's totally that. And it, like I said, I don't recall. There were never any games that followed up to that ever.
Yeah.
At least that I remember in the arcades. Games that tended to do well were like the Defenders, Robotron. You see copies of those. You see like shooters were always super popular even into the 90s. And driving, and then simulation stuff like driving and flying were always like a jet simulation.
Yes,
Afterburner.
Afterburner.
Afterburner was like, oh man.
Whoa!
Afterburner was so good. Did you ever play the arcade Laserdisc game that was an Afterburner type game?
No.
It was like a jet game, and I think it was called like Fire. I want to say it was Firefox. It wasn't, but it had a sense of that. Like it was.
Was it in like a crazy gyro?
No, it was. You could play it. It was $1.
Cockpit.
I think it was $1 game, and you could. They ran the Laserdisc of like a guy flying down Grand Canyon or some crap like that,
Okay.
and it drew on top like fake things, and so you're sort of like seeing real. I'd have to look this up, but I never played it because it looked like shit, and I thought it was a crappy.
Was
idea.
it like photorealistic?
The background, yes, but
Okay.
they drew
Like it was a
fake,
filmed
then
thing?
They had like a jet on top of that, like a jet cockpit on top of that. I'm pretty sure with a HUD and all that.
Yeah.
And then jets would come on and you could fire at them, but I think they were all sprites,
Animated.
They weren't. They weren't. Obviously, they weren't. Like, it wasn't
I
like
think
Top
I
Gun.
kind of understand what you're talking about here.
We'll look it up.
I don't think I would have wanted to play that either.
It was very expensive and not very fun, and
Yes.
and you would get killed really quick, and you're like, okay, fuck that.
It was like, what was that one holographic arcade game?
with the sheriff.
Yes, and it was in space or something, and there's like mushrooms around, and it looks like you're playing a diorama or
Yeah,
something.
it was like the first holographic game.
Yes, and it was kind of like that, where it's basically you're playing like Dragon's Lair or something.
Yeah, and nobody played
You
it.
gotta
Like
push the gun button at the right time.
Nobody played that
Yes.
game like that.
And that was expensive too.
that was a very expensive. It was,
It was like $1 or
$1.50.
$2 or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a very rare and very expensive game.
Yes.
And it was only at the Lakewood Center Galaxy Arcade. but it was nowhere else. Like I don't even think electronic. So I grew up in Long Beach, and Lakewood Mall was near where our house was, and we would go to Lakewood Mall, and that had a big two arcades. I think the Electronic Corral was one of them, and then there was like another sort of a big arcade outside of it, and the big
lot of arcade action.
A lot of arcade. I played a lot of arcade games when I was growing up. A lot of arcade games, and they were like. But I do remember like when they like the place called Electronic had all pinball machines, and then they got the first Pac-Man.
Okay.
And the first 79. They got the 78 or 77 when they got the first Space Invaders.
Yeah.
Like I'd ridden my bike there, and I was like, and the Electronic Corral
was over.
Yeah, it was next to the military shop, which was a little model store. And I remember going from the model store and looking inside the Electronic Corral. I was like, what is everybody standing around? They're standing around. It looks like a TV.
Yeah.
And they were playing Space Invaders, and they had another TV on top of Space Invaders, so you could see what the guy was playing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't believe he was playing that. I was like, this is incredible. And they said a year later, I think that year or something, they announced Atari announced the 2600.
We're gonna be porting Space Invaders.
Yeah, there was and I remember people. No joke. The actual quote from my guy in my soccer team, the coach, one of the coaches was buying because it was like $700. The Atari was like $700 or something ridiculous. It was so ridiculously priced.
Before ET single-handedly destroyed.
It was like $300 to $500. It was so expensive. I remember him saying. He said, and I quote,
the Atari 2600 was $300 to $700.
It was very expensive.
Yeah.
It was more, I believe, in real dollars than the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One is now, by far.
Yeah, people bitch and complain about game prices.
Yeah, and the cartridges were $60 or $70 too. They're ridiculous.
Right.
Like it was so ridiculous. But the
in 1970s and 80s,
which should be like $100 now. So ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so unbelievable. I remember the guy saying, and I quote, he goes, you won't believe this, but this new system can play Space Invaders at home exactly like the arcades. And we were like, everybody was like, what? It's impossible.
You lie.
He goes, there's no way they could duplicate those graphics. He's like, I'm not kidding. I saw it. It's exactly like it. And we're like, everybody was like, are you kidding me? And he goes, I've got it. He goes, I'm getting one like this weekend or something like that. And we were all like, oh my God, we have to see this thing. It's incredible.
Can I come over to your house?
Yeah. So I had some friends that got it, and it was incredible. It was like the most magical thing we'd ever seen.
Yeah, it's like bringing the circus home.
Yeah. It was just the thing, and there was nothing like it. I mean, we'd all had Odysseys and crap like that you could get for like $50 at a JCPenney or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And those were just like
Fairchild.
Yeah, and they had like Pong, Smash Ball, and they had like really
hockey.
shitty. Yeah, they had like really crappy little games, and you're like, these are okay.
It was freaking Sears consoles.
Yeah, exactly.
They came with like a fucking gun.
Yeah, or it had like a little paddle controller, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play my little paddle game with my sister, and that was it. But the Atari was like, it had the cartridges. You're like, okay, cool, I could put other games on
your
there.
first step into a new world.
It was incredible. It was insane. And then the things just blew up. The thousands, and it was like Steam now. Like there's just so many games on it. Like you could
Yes.
It's a lot like
Buried
Steam
under
now.
its own weight.
Yes, it did. It collapsed under its own weight. There was just too many games coming out. Like, did you see that article that came out about the Steam games that?
No.
Well, since they switched their curation last year, I think it was.
Yes.
They jumped
Very recently too. It was like the end of last year that they completely obliterated the
Greenlight went away, and then
Yeah.
they added,
the last remnants of the Senate have been swept away.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna go from Greenlight to Fastlane, and like it's
$100. Everyone, give me $100. You got a game on you.
Everyone's
on
in,
Steam. Yeah.
and so everybody's in now, and
What? Okay.
I think they're releasing like 33 games a day now, or something like that. Some absurd number. It's gone so sky high now that
Yeah.
you're just the odds of getting attention now are very low. Like they're just. It's unfortunate because I mean
I haven't read that article, but
I feel like
I believe it.
I feel like Boss 101 had that moment where it had like a very short blip on the Steam front page.
Yeah. Does not bode well for Savage. I'll tell you
Well,
what.
maybe it does. You never know. But you may have a moment. Like all you need is one. What you really do, it does point out that it's.
What I need to go do is go back to 1977.
Oh my God, Savage in '77, you would be undoubtedly one of the richest.
Put it
people
out
on
on.
the planet.
Work on it for 5 years or whatever, and put it on the Atari ST or something.
Yeah, you would be the richest game developer ever known. Like any of those games, Boss 101 back then, it would have been viewed as like a seminal. Like it would have been like it would
Nobel
have been
Peace Prize goes to Tim Donnelly.
It would be like me inventing the holodeck right now. Like that level of like surprise would happen. People would be like, that's impossible. There's no way. The government would interview me. Like they would want to know how that happened.
How did you know how to?
Yeah, this is you got
what secrets
what
of you?
chip technology are you using to make these?
You
things?
a commie? What do
We
you?
can't push 1024 texture size around. Like we can't even push 2K texture size around. Like what the fuck are you guys doing there? So yeah, that would be it'd be great. But yeah, I feel like now with the Steam craziness, really it does. You're doing the right thing. You're,
Something like 33 games a day, huh?
Minimum.
Oh,
33 games, which means your possible, not guaranteed, but your possible exposure time on Steam front page is hours now.
Right.
So you're going
to get buried on that feed.
Yeah, and the hope now, what you really got to do is what you're doing, which is do podcasts, do streaming, get an audience going beforehand, and get some people that know about your
Learn
game.
how to juggle.
Yeah, learn how to juggle. Learn how to basically because it's the only way. Like I feel like that's what we're doing for the arcade, the Zazmo arcade. We're doing regular streaming now. We've decided to do. Yeah. Just as an option, we went the other way. We made like a game which we thought was very high quality and said, okay, that'll carry it. And it kind of did. Well, it certainly does now. Like we could point people to it and they're like, okay, this does look like it's something that's high quality, which is great. But yeah, I don't know, man. The Zazmo arcade is kind of, we're taking a different approach.
Well, and again, it's the audience problem where it's the gatekeepers have the audience.
Yes.
So you got to try to get around them somehow or bring people over to you.
Yes. Yeah, you got to like somehow drag that audience away because otherwise you're just not going to get it.
You got to put on your bear costume and dance around and have a quality product.
Yes. You got to do like this crazy quality thing that we didn't have to deal with 2 or 3 years. Yeah, had you and I been working, you've been working on Savage maybe in 2008 and it was 2009 or something like that now. And Boss 101 was just coming out. Like we would be the Ed McMillans and Jonathan Blows of the situation. Like we'd have these games that people just weren't expecting, and we're sort of the indie darlings. I don't. It isn't to say those guys couldn't still make an amazing indie game. Well, they have the audience now, but I don't know. Could a Jonathan Blow or Ed McMillan?
Well, I mean, you look at like Braid and Super Meat Boy, and those games are just like,
yeah, exactly,
insanely like. And not to say that like Boss 101 or Savage isn't. It's just.
Well, they were the first, or some of the earlier very well done, like Fez. Like they were just these very well done, high quality games that were made by a smaller team or smaller one person.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of games that people were doing up until then for consoles as indie developers were like Smash a Gopher or like
Rocket Fart was one of my favorite examples.
Yeah, Cloud.
When I saw that fucking game on Xbox of all things, Rocket Fart, and it was like a single screen, not even widescreen. It was like the weird like old arcade style aspect ratio. Mm-hmm. And it was just single screen, and you're a little guy, and you have to fucking like push a fart button to not fall in a volcano or something. And it's like, what is this? And who knows how much money that made? Oh, yeah. And it was 2007, 2008.
Yeah, and those are the kind of games like you couldn't. That game right now, it wouldn't even. It could go in early access and probably make $5. Like that's it. Like it's just.
It might move more copies than Savage because of its name, though.
Well, that's true. Considering that the games,
people would play it ironically,
Exactly. There's actually, you know what? It's funny you should say that because we were thinking about what could we do to. We could play like one of those play it ironically games where you just go like, oh hey, it's
Cat Penis, the video game.
Yeah, this is cat in the water game. Like, oh, you try and dunk the kitty. It's like, and just do something dumb like that. And everybody's like, oh, this is so funny. Let's get it on it. This is good. Pay for my rent. It's it depends. Like, we're sticking with the kind of the fun game theming, but more than once we've talked about doing something that is along the lines of Rocket Fart. Like, really, that has come up quite a few times where I'm like thinking, maybe like what's the one
do a fucking weird like physics simulation thing where you're trying to like flip a pizza and get the dough like and it gets everywhere and
and there's like the fire starts, there's a dog over on the side that's barking and then there's like there's like a little like squirrel that comes in and runs on the pizza like kind of like it's a treadmill. It's like this funny moment. You're just like, oh okay, that's really hilarious. You got 100 things happening. the fucking fan at
And
the
it all affects the physics of the dough.
yeah, and
Like,
then
whoa!
the fan on the roof causes turbulence. There's like, oh, everybody's laughing their heads
Dough
off.
gets sucked up into the fan. And
Yeah, and then there's a screaming customer in the background pointing his finger at you the whole time, screaming and yelling, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. Look at all these funny things
sounds
happening.
like Tapper.
Yeah, it is Tapper. It is Tapper, actually. Tapper's a good game.
It is. Tapper is a good game.
Oh,
what's
Zazmo
this?
Arcade Pack 2.
Part 2.
Yes, Tapper is a good game. I love Tapper.
Oh, with his ass double the mo.
Yeah, well, it'll be like it'll be our alien bar,
Yes. Yeah.
and it'll have like instead of just a straight, it'll have like a curved.
Ricochet.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it's coming back at me.
Oh, here it comes! I gotta drink it. Tapper was a fun game.
What's it? It's a crazy management.
Did you
kinda
have to make
game.
specific drinks, or did they?
No, I think it was just one, and
Okay.
you had lanes that you had to manage where it's like people would build up on one, and it's like, oh fuck, they need their
Yeah. What was the point of that? You just had to keep the lanes slow.
Empty.
Okay.
yeah.
I thought there was some like moment where I would love to do a Tapper that's because Tapper is.
I have very little experience with that game, so it's.
But I
and when
remember
I did, it was
looked
very
good.
long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, you know what game was a fucking fun game was Mr. Do. Did you ever play Mr. Do?
Yes, but
Nobody was good at Mr. Do.
it was.
Few people were.
I seem to want to place the Dig Dug.
Yeah, it's exact. No,
on it.
Mr. Do is
Okay, yeah.
Dig Dug.
Okay.
Dig Dug had the pump, but Mr. Do had a little like do ball or whatever.
I seem to remember the music was good.
Yeah, dee 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 dee. Yeah, it was Mr. Do. That was Mr. Do's music. It was great, and he was a clown digging in the dirt for some reason. Yeah, Mr. Do.
Look him up.
Mr. Do, I think he was a clown and he was throwing a frisbee of some sort, or bouncy ball.
Mr. Doob. I don't know what the fuck this is, but Google wants me to type Mr. Doob.
Taito or something. Taito. Taito.
Okay. Yeah, he's okay. Yes,
Is he a
clown guy.
Yeah. He's got a little clown hat. Blue
Yeah,
hat.
and this is totally Dig Dug too. It's like a
yeah.
sort of a solid screen, and you gotta
Yeah,
kinda
and
dig
his
through
little
things.
shot ricocheted all over the place like a boomerang. It was bounce around inside
Yeah.
the tunnels that he made.
Yeah, here he is. Yeah,
Yeah, Mr. Do is cool like that. And there was a sequel, I think, to Mr. Do also.
yeah. Mr. Don't.
Yeah, Mr. Don't. Oh, there he is. There's
Yeah.
Mr. Do. Oh my God. Yeah, that looks way worse than I remember. Like, that's terrible looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Do. Dig Dug's a great game. Dig Dug.
There you
That's
go.
Arcade Action. Oh my God, Dig Dug was good.
Yeah.
Dig Dug was a fun
So you
game.
could have what, like Tender and
Oh man. Yeah, Dig Dug,
and
Mr. Do,
not Spelunker,
Tapper,
I guess, but yeah.
Tapper, Mr. Do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are what we're designing games right now. Like we do want to do a racing game though. Really wanna do.
Top down
Super Sprint
or
type game.
what was Super Sprint?
Super Sprint was a pixel graphic. Well, I
Like
think
what was it from the perspective of the car, like going into the?
No,
or is
that's
it like
that-
top down?
top down.
Okay,
It's like
RC Pro Am or something, or okay.
That was exact. We're gonna do like an RC Pro Am but unlimited procedural world, and what it would be is you get it's a rally. It's like Mad Max, like you're racing. racing.
So
from,
like what was the Spy Hunter? Maybe.
yes,
Kinda, or
but you're in an open terrain. Like you could just go in any direction, but you have a timer.
Oh, okay, like a derby style.
Yeah, it's like imagine like racing in the
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, imagine racing in the outback
Yes.
and going. There's like, you get a meter that says go this direction, and you've got 20 seconds to get to the next marker, or you lose. And so you just take off in that direction.
And
Now
you can get there however you want.
yes,
Okay.
You can go anywhere you want, and then
Navigating around whatever hazards.
There's all these
or-
Mad Max guys chasing you.
Okay.
and they're just like you can have you and a friend could go there, or you could have a
I like that.
yeah.
That sounds good.
Well, the real fun was like we were gonna do like a rap patrol thing. I was talking to Joshua about this. I was like, what if we did a rap patrol where one guy's the driver and another guy's the machine gun guy? Like,
Oh, okay, like Lucky and Wild sort of.
yes. And so like, and the cars were Michael baying it. They're like, exploding.
He's behind us.
Yeah, it's like, go left. Like, oh, it'd be so fun. Like, I just think the idea of, I mean, it could be a spaceship game too. It doesn't need to be, it could be anything, but the idea
It
is
could be a hovercraft. It could be
Yep.
whatever the hell.
one person is the pilot, another person is the
Gunner.
Yeah.
And
then-
you have a Millennium Falcon situation.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, one guy's doing all the crazy stunts and you're like just trying to kind of hang on.
I got him.
Yeah. Oh, so it'd be so fun. But that's a possible game. That one, the thing about that is since that's a break from like not just a given template, there's a lot of like exploration there where we may get caught in the weeds on that a little. Like,
Yeah.
sort of.
All of a sudden, we have a game that's not too big.
Yeah. Like the tank games was threatening to become that because it sort of like broke out of its boundaries.
Oh, I love the tank game.
I love the tank game.
I would love to see a Donley Time
tank
adventure thing.
We would love to take the tank game and do a large scale version of it where 4-player online and have much bigger arenas and different tanks. Like you could have a sniper tank, or basically one that fires fast or one that fires one that moves slow and fires giant heavy armored tank. And maybe the heavy armor guy can smash through walls too.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Yeah. It's such a good game. But yeah, that's
Stop it. Stop teasing me.
I know. It'd be so good. Oh, those games would be great. But yeah, I would like to blow out the tank. I think the tank games is the diamond in the rough. That one's, it's not even in the rough. It's really good. Like, it's a super fun game. So, but yeah, the Zazmo Arcade's coming along. So that's
now, and all of this tied up in what you're thinking it could be presented on Twitch.
All this was tied up because, I think that we want to, not only do we want to develop it a little bit on the Twitch end, but we also think it shows well as if somebody was to play it. There's a lot of fun in it. It's a very simple to understand concept. You can play on screen. You get the whole adventure on that one screen. And there's just this really good sense of back and forth drama, almost like the kind of arcade. You know what it is? It's similar to the same crowd that might enjoy watching a Street Fighter type game where you just go, there's sort of the excitement, the one screen excitement happening right there. You're going, this is pretty amazing. The back and forth. Like you're saying, the tank game has a lot of back and forth. Like 1 second you're on your ass, the next second you're heroes.
Very, very intense, short bursts of drama.
Yes. Yeah, and you have these moments where all the doors open up and you're just like, you trying to clear the room of like, these guys are firing everything at you and you're like, oh my God, I can't get out of this. And then you do and you're like, wow, this is awesome. Like,
and the parameters are so tight around it that you start to understand everything.
Yes.
You know where your shots are going to go. You know how fast you're going. You know when you're going to run into an enemy takes bullet. You know all that stuff before it happens.
Yes.
When you start to play it.
When you die in the tank game, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Like there is no sense.
It's like tic-tac-toe. You know exactly what's going to happen when you put an O here in a, Yeah, and if you're not paying attention, the other guy can just be like, I got all these fucking X's. You're done.
Oh, it's so good. Like there are so many fun moments in there and so many good things where you just go, very surprising gameplay can come out of it. I didn't expect it to be that good, and it is. It's a very fun game.
Yeah, I didn't. I was like, oh, it's combat.
Yeah.
And then you play it, it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and it's like you're like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Like this is
and then half an hour later, you're still like,
like, oh wow, this is a little easier, harder than I thought it would be. Yeah, it's really, really, really fun. But I love it. I love the tank game, and I'm hoping we can. Ideally, we do Zazmo Arcade Pack 2. So the next steps right now are going to be when the dev kits show up, we're going to look at right away at making the Xbox version of Boss 101. Finish the Zazmo Arcade Pack. Ideally, we thought about early access too.
Yeah.
That isn't a for sure, but that was a possibility, is to go into early access and the Zazmo Arcade, I should say, the Zazmo Arcade go into early access and then see if people are interested in that and just develop it along that, Steam and build an audience for like a week or two or month or two. I don't know how long. The Zazmo Arcade is almost done, just to be honest. There's not a lot more to do. There's a lot of UI stuff, but it's not like the main game has already been built. So we're really just, we had four of the games were already well done before we even started. They all were variations.
They're already in Boss 101. Yeah.
Right. And so we added the co-op and the 2-player and increased the game fields are all bigger.
Yeah.
We added more stuff.
Levels to
more levels, more everything. We added a lot, but the only new one is Last Stand, and that was probably the easiest game to add. And that was so super easy. But all the rest
that's funny.
Yeah, all the rest of the stuff was like, nope, they're all there, so it's all done. And that's why it was so fast. The whole thing didn't take us but 2 or 3 weeks to put it together, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Considering Boss 101, oh my God, 3.5 years.
3.5
years.
Yep.
3.5 years.
Yeah. And now with Twitch though, how did you like?
I like it.
Doing that on I kind of think that's the way to go. Obviously to have a quality thing, a quality game that you made.
Yeah.
But to kind of.
Well, I think you need
make a little noise around it and also produce some other quality things like hopefully this podcast.
Yes, exactly. Well, no,
and
I
live
agree.
streaming and putting a little juice into those things too. I think is kind of the answer to a lot of problems.
Well, you need to double down on your
or
time.
obstacles. I should not problems.
It's your yeah, you're right. Obstacle. You need to double
compete in the marketplace. You
Yeah,
kind of need a
exactly.
little something like that going on.
I think the problem that indie developers, small teams have is that you either end up doing we'll just say the convention circuit, where you stop everything and go to PAX, or you go to E3, or you go to even a local thing. With Twitch, you can sort of double down your time and say, well, I can develop the game somewhat, but still get some advertising out there and get a video and do a little,
get a rapport with your
Yes.
audience going, and
where you don't have to go to you don't have to pack up all your stuff and go to some convention, even if it's in town or across the country. And you've got a benefit there, and you do build up an audience. You know, I like I said, I saw Vlambeer did I mentioned it before. They developed, as far as I know, Nuclear Throne pretty much consistently on Twitch, which was amazing.
at least once a week. Yeah,
Twice, I think they did. Well, I think the main team, Rami and what's his name? What's the other guy's name?
Jan.
Yeah, is that his name, Jan? But
I think.
well, the two guys, like, they basically did, like, their main team was there once a week, and then they had a sound guy or a pixel artist like Paul Veer or one of the sound guys come on, and they did like another counter part of the development, but they did that like on a Thursday. I think Tuesdays was like Jan, and then the Thursdays was like Paul or one of the music guys did another part. But it was great. It was a lot of props to that. That's a hard thing to do. Like,
it is
very consistent. They were doing it like
it's hard to make it entertaining.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talked about this last time. I think we're kind of, what way do you go when you're doing this sort of thing? Do you go more entertaining, or do you go more informative, or just like dry, very academic, like just a guy working?
Yeah, it's tough.
Do you talk? Do you not talk? Do you? And then are you streaming so that you can get work done, or are you streaming so that you can get some marketing out there, and then maybe get a little bit of work done while you're going? It's like,
yeah, that's a tough one.
Any of those things are complicated and difficult.
Yeah,
any of those approaches.
It seems like by streaming, you've already admitted you're going to do some marketing. Like, that's just
exactly
immediate. So you're already like in entertainment mode on some level. Like, you're going to have to entertain people a little bit. That's what I look at it. Like, I think when we're going to do the thing, Thursday,
the question is like, just how passive is that
entertainment? Yeah, how much can you wrap that entertainment into your actual work? Like a Thursday. So we're doing, our plan now is to do like another gameplay thing on Thursday, maybe 2 hours. We'll probably do a consistent 2 hours for the next few weeks and just see how that goes. More beyond that, we'd really like to keep it going. But yeah, and it's going to be just mostly us. And we do game talk too. We're actually going to talk about game development, because we're going to play it and use it as play testing.
Yeah,
where we're going to actually look at the game and say, oh, this shot isn't fast enough, or this thing isn't quick enough, or maybe we should add this UI elements here.
Those are some of my favorite live streams, is when I'm like, okay, I'm just going to play.
Yeah.
I'm going to take notes while I play, and then occasionally talk to chat and stuff. And they can be like, oh, I noticed a thing over there that's not poopy. Or whatever. Like, oh, thank you. Yes.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like that's the way to do it. Like, that's incorporating, that's a good use of your time, because you're
still showing the game too. Like, you're not.
Yeah, and you've got something at the end.
You don't have like a wall of code up for 3 hours. No one knows what it is.
Well, and you can show that that's a demonstrable thing. Like, you can maybe you had a 10 minutes in there that were of gameplay that you could edit out. You could download the video from YouTube or wherever, and you could take that, edit, and make a little trailer out of it or something. You could put together a making of video, or you could put together a little sizzle trailer if you wanted to of the development. It's just, there's a lot of options. I mean, again, you're using your time wisely, as opposed to just sort of saying, and again, I don't want to harp on the fact, because I do think there's a reason to go to conventions and do stuff like that. But
absolutely, yeah. I never would have gotten interviewed by PC Gamer, for example.
Yes.
If I hadn't gone to this other thing. All of it is exposure, and all of it is groundwork. And I think all of it is good, But I think you get possibly a little bit more mileage out of doing something like Twitch. Yeah. For example, for me, going into other people's channels and striking up a conversation about the game I'm making, then all of a sudden you've introduced your game to this whole other community that you might have not even known was there unless you were hanging out on Twitch or whatever, and then they'll come watch you, and
Yeah, and you wouldn't know, and that's all because of you. You know, I gotta say, like a lot of the best practices stuff. You know, I mean, obviously, I worked on games before, but I think you've introduced me to a lot of these, like Twitch, and helped me get set up there. But also just the game maker community and the game development community, because you came at it from a different angle than I did. You know, I came from kind of the old fiefdom of the game development from the 90s, like just that whole way is like, so like it's just all, I don't, again, no offense to anybody out there, it's my age, you're a bunch of old people that are down guys, they're either like old cronies or they're guys that are just, there's a lot of bitter why isn't things more like that, why can't I make a Madden and make $500 million like I used to, single guy doing that. There's still really good developers, but I came from a time that it was just different. It was like, there weren't game developers back then. There were just like an artist that barely knew Photoshop. It wasn't even Photoshop back then. Can you believe that? There was a time when there wasn't Photoshop. That's insane. I remember when Photoshop came out.
Don't scare me.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like 90 something that Photoshop 1 came out, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It can hold a 640 by 480 and image.
Yeah, now we use that fucking damn shit for everything. Not even just game development, but like I use it for my stream and like all the overlays.
Use it for everything. Yeah, and it just, that was a just different world. And a lot of those guys like me, I came up, I didn't study games. I grew up in them, thankfully. But now it's like there's this whole new media empire that's going with it. The Twitch thing, the internet's great. It's fantastic. Yeah. Everybody, like you introduced me to a lot of that stuff, like the development on Twitch, development online. Really, I didn't have any idea. I didn't do a lot of that.
Well, I think some of the sensibilities that are wrapped up in the new media stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's lapped itself. And it's gone back to like old carny kind of stuff where it's like, okay, I got to learn how to do backflips. I got to, be flexible, like literally flexible, and learn how to tame a lion, and be loud and like, hey, come right up, step right up, check out Savage Shard of Gosen, kind of crap, and like do funny voices while you're streaming, just or like instead of learning how to juggle or whatever, like throw fire at people, like you have a YouTube channel,
yes,
and you have a a Twitch thing, and you have also the game that you're working on, which is the circus and whatever, and you kind of have to be like almost vaudevillian. If you
do, really, it really helps. Like it's
because games are entertainment still. So,
well, development's entertainment too, and you also realize you're spending time. Like you could, a little extra effort can get a lot of exposure. So it's worth doing. Like getting on Twitch.
Yeah, there really isn't a downside to it, unless you're just horrible at managing your time and you get addicted to streaming or something, and you just go down this rabbit hole where it's like I'm not getting anything done, but I'm talking to all these people, and which there are days where that feels like that. But you're still attracting people to your channel, though, is the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's definitely like, if the question was, or if the decision of the day was, should I stream game development all day and chitty chat with my, people, constituents in the channel, or should I, play Dark Souls? Well, yeah, okay, then probably the Twitch thing. If those are your two choices, then you're definitely probably benefiting by doing game development and even maybe barely getting any true forward game development done, but a lot of marketing done, which is game development. The marketing angle is game development. It isn't that it's not. Like that's I think something that you taught me a little
you're building this digital space for people to come hang out in, so.
And you want them to like you too. You want them to understand that like you're a likable character that can, is going to deliver something.
And you want them to enjoy the atmosphere that you're presenting, and
Well, you're selling yourself as much as you're selling the game. You're kind of presenting like, here's the guy that's making this fun game that you're going to enjoy, and they're like, oh, okay, cool.
These are the movies he likes. These are the comics he likes. These are you get.
I like
sense of those.
I like that stuff too. That's what I want.
That's why I listen to podcasts and things like that. I'm like, I wonder what this guy thinks of Star Chaser. Legend of Orin.
Did you watch that?
I did. I watched.
Oh, what'd you think of it? We got to talk about
good.
That. Oh, I knew you'd like it. Did you really like it?
How do you like that segue?
Yeah, that was a good one. Star Chaser, Legend of Orin, 1983, the year you were born, I believe.
1985, I think.
Oh, you're right, 85.
I think, and Bo was my wife was born in 85, and so we both watched it.
What did you think of it?
It was fantastic.
I saw it in the theater.
Yes.
So yeah.
Well, you saw it when it came out during 3D. A time
I saw it
when Star Wars was kind of fresh.
Oh yeah, Empire was only 2 years old. It was everybody
wanted a piece of that pie. And, yeah.
And
I didn't see it under in that context.
Yes. Yeah.
But I could totally see the
Did you see
some of the rip-offy nature?
Yes. Did you see what they were going for?
Oh yes. Yeah. It's Star
incredible.
Wars without being Star Wars, and
They really put a lot of work into it. Like I was kind of
the
stunned.
animation was very good at parts, and
Yes.
you could tell it was very scrappy. You could tell it was didn't have the biggest budget, but these guys were really trying to do something. And all of the elements, just the raw stuff that was in it, I fucking loved. Like a guy with a fucking invisible laser sword thing that he finds in the mines where the robot overlords are like killing everybody, and it was a lot more violent and weird too than I thought it was gonna be.
What was it? I don't know, Water Snake, or what did he call him?
Water Snake, yeah, the Han Solo character.
Yeah, the Han Solo guy that looks like some greasy Italian submarine sandwich making guy.
His design, I liked his like weird space armor. Kind of Wild West.
Well, he gave the other guy
and shit, but like the way he looked was like kind of like.
He wasn't a handsome character.
No.
He looked like a greasy, like sub sandwich shop owner. Like he didn't look like
or like a guy that like eats at Norm's all the time.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, Water Snake.
I don't know, Water Snake sounded like Burt Reynolds kind of. And
he was modeled after. Wasn't that original Han Solo? Was Burt Reynolds or one of the original?
I know. Tom Selleck was supposed to be fucking
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, yeah.
But I believe Burt Reynolds was put up to be possibly one Han Solo.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. And I think they made this guy that guy. Like they're like Han Solo, or why not just fucking do Burt Reynolds? He's great. Let's just do Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
What did you think of the his ship, the Millennium Falcon ship?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called though, or if it even had a name. I think he just called it after the AI that was piloting it.
Yeah. But did you like that scene that I told you where it flipped over?
I knew exactly when you.
Oh, did you know?
The engines.
Yes, the engines flip around and then the ship circles back over. I was like, that looked awesome. Like, that was the greatest. I thought
a deal goes south.
Yes, a deal goes south, and he's like,
where the guys that he trades diamond spice things with,
got a spice.
Put a bomb on his ship because there's a bounty out for
the kid
for Skywalker.
Yeah, for Skywalker.
Who's
wearing a Marty McFly puffy jacket.
Everyone is in that fucking thing. Yeah, he's wearing a Marty McFly like. Are you afraid of drowning? Or?
Yes.
Yeah, and then they find out there's a bomb on the thing. They're taking off. They got their money or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
and it does a crazy Millennium Falcon flip, but the engines on the thing the engines
they
were
rotate.
going reverse first, and then
yes, it was so good. I was like,
a really neat
oh
little
my
sequence.
God, that's awesome.
There are a lot of little moments like that in the movie.
They had that's what I'm saying. They had the ideas were there. They were really they're like, okay, we can spend our money on this. Like, this is it. We're gonna do this right. And that
they
scene,
almost did.
Yeah. If the whole movie had that's what I'm saying. Like that moment, they have several of them. But if they'd have hit those a few more times, I guarantee that would have been a classic. That would have gone down Disney level. Like,
and
easy.
some of the action sequences in it were pretty impressive. Like the way they animated all the ships and everything. I don't know how they did that.
It's all rotoscoped computer stuff.
Right. I didn't know if it was like very early CG kind of stuff and they just animated on top of it, or if they had models that they filmed and then they rotoscoped over those.
Have you ever Rock and Roll? Did you ever see Rock and Roll?
Rock and Rule?
Rock and Rule.
No.
You should see it.
I want to though. I know what you're talking about.
That's another one you need.
And I've seen the trailer for
Rock
it.
and Roll 1985. I think that is another 1985. You should see that. You're just killing it. What they did in Rock and Roll, and I don't know if they did it in this, but I feel like they did in this, is either this one looked like they made 3D models and filmed the wireframes and then traced the wireframes. Like, I don't think they had any sophisticated
That's what it looks like to
software.
me too.
That's what they did. I'm pretty sure that's what they did because they had some guy with a ruler just tracing the lines. Rock and Rule did something similar.
They were very consistent.
Yeah, they're really super.
And it looked great.
Yeah,
because it still looked like 2D animation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no way no human has hands that steady at that time.
Yeah.
And there's no way, like, they had to have, like...
And just coming up with all the planes and the angles just from their head. Like,
right. There's no way they did it. So I'm pretty sure they traced it. And I'm saying traced, not like had some computer process to make it look like it's just drawn. There's no way.
No, they fucking drew over
They drew over because that's all the way they could do it. But it made it look
That's what I thought.
amazing.
It was either CG that they rotoscoped or they filmed models and then they rotoscoped
It's
those.
incredible. Like, that ship for the time it's astoundingly well animated.
And there's some complicated designs for some of the ships and the
the other ships, like the bad guy ships too, the same way. They're like
and the guys in their weird little like rocket motorcycle air
super
things.
Good. Like everything is really good. Like, it's just like holy crap. I like the robot, the AI chick.
Yes, the fembot.
The fembot. Oh my god.
There's some weird shit in that movie.
Yeah, what about when he's reprogramming
He
her?
reprograms her by taking her butt plate off.
Yes.
And like prodding around in there, and he turns her because she's kind of like feisty and they kidnap her.
Well, she's basically to him. He's like she's not being obedient enough, so he turns her into like this sex bot type thing.
Yeah, after he reprograms her, then she gets all like sultry,
amorous. She's very like into him. All of a sudden, I was like, what happened here?
This is weird. This makes me feel weird.
Yeah, this is the bizarre. And then like at the end, there is no sword, and he's like, zing.
Yeah, he is the blade.
Yeah, I'm the blade. I was like, wow.
And then he just materializes a fucking astral sword.
Oh yeah, he goes
hands.
full space wizard at that point. Like,
the whole point of the thing is there are prisoners on a mining. They call it mine world.
Yes,
and it's this whole colony of people, presumably like thousands of people,
right,
who live in the subterranean area mining crystals
for the
robot overlords.
The robot overlords have been telling everybody that robots mine the stuff. That's part of the trick.
Yeah, everyone on the outside.
Everybody in the outside of robot world.
Yeah, in civilized space
thinks these androids are utterly mining their own android planet with androids.
Yeah, but it's really human physical labor.
Yes.
They have never seen the outside.
Yes, they're troglodytes. Basically.
Right, exactly. They're subterranean human dweller people. And one of the dudes, they use these crazy like electro miner things. It looks like Blackthorn.
Yeah, Blackthorn's drill.
If you like Blackthorn, you fucking love this movie. Yeah. and the guy's like digging and stuff. You could tell he's the hero because he stands up to like one of the robo guards, like, don't whip that guy, kind of thing. And he finds this fucking like hilt like buried in the rocks. Yes, just a hilt. And it turns out there's this fucking like. It seems like whenever he uses it, and he in anger or something, like then it cuts.
Yeah, well, first he thinks there's a blade, invisible blade there all the time.
He finds it in a holographic projection of some old guy comes out and he's like, you must find the blade.
Yeah, find the blade.
Free my people so they can see the world beyond the mines. Yes. Or something like that.
Crazy. And then he thinks like there's a whole scene where he's figuring that out where he goes like, he thinks the blade is there all the time and it's just invisible because remember.
And so does everyone else too.
Yes, and then he falls on it and he realizes there's no blade.
Yeah, and like people are like, what's... Huh?
There's no blade there, and then
but when he gets convicted about something, he's like, yeah, and he like swings it. You can see this sort of like arc, and it cuts through. There's some really really cool things that they do with the blade when he finally escapes the thing and he fights those mandroids.
Oh yeah,
which are I don't know if they're like sentient robots or cannibal people or both.
Oh, you're talking about the people in the blue blues with like cybernetic parts on them.
Yeah, and they cut body parts off of people and rejigger themselves with a new arm or a new like throat.
I knew you'd like that part.
That was rad.
That's a Matt. Cool. I was like, that's a Matt special.
There's a part where okay, spoilers.
Yeah.
For Star Chaser.
Spoilers for a 32-year-old movie.
For 1985 Legend of Orin
that nobody's seen.
Yeah. They do really cool stuff with the blade where he stabs one of those things.
Yeah.
And you don't see the blade, but you see the goop and the blood.
Yes,
like in a sword sort of shape, dripping down.
Awesome.
It was like, what the fuck? This movie's like better than I thought it would be. It does a lot of little things like that.
They did a ton of that. They had a really, and then it's like got this whole like, Then there's that part where the traitor guy, the Han Solo guy, is basically like he keeps trying to drop the kid off. He's like, all right, see you later, and like he just keeps like,
get out of here, water snake.
Get out of here, water snake.
With
I
his
got
fucking cigar.
Yeah, he's always got a cigar in his mouth. So, I was like, oh my god,
a cigar and an ascot.
Oh my god, it's so. And he's like walking around with his fembot thing. He's like, all right, we'll see you guys later. And they're like, because I haven't found my sword yet. He's like, yeah, whatever. And he just keeps he just leaves.
Not my problem, water snake.
Oh my god, I love that. That movie had so much, and I love
runs into princesses and runs into all kinds of stuff.
Oh, and his spoilers, his girlfriend dies
right at the beginning.
Yeah,
like she's fucking killed by the Darth Vader type dude.
I like,
and he just looks like fucking Skeletor's brother or something. Like,
doesn't he have a mask? He's got like a.
He doesn't have. When they're in Mine World.
Yeah.
There's this place where everyone gathers and it's like a giant dragon head or something, and they think that's a god that comes out of the. It's him dressed up. Yeah, it's the main villain dressed up, and he's like, "You must keep mining the crystals, otherwise we will all perish in the flames of whatever god." And then he leaves, and it's like an act.
Yeah,
I don't even think the flames are real. They're like holographic
awesome.
images.
It's awesome.
And he has all these people tricked into believing that he's God. And
so good.
But he doesn't have like a mask or anything. He's just like,
and he's an android. You find out he's an android
later. Yeah, he cuts off a piece of his face.
You're like, oh my god, it's an android.
Parts, and he's like, you're a fucking robot.
Yeah, he's like, and then he just goes, "Yeah, we've been robots all the time. Like we've been keeping you guys under control
and
for
we've been like
millennia."
supplanting parts of your government, and we pretty much have like this whole network now where if we take out one more system, it's going to be like
we're
going to have a totalitarian everybody.
It's quite they really were reaching for something on that thing. It's like I
want a sequel.
Oh man, you should go do a little deep dive into that. That's a rabbit hole, but there is a lot of talk about that. Like they interview the guys that did it.
Oh, I would love to see it.
Oh man,
what they were thinking, and what they were doing, and what they were.
Those guys are still around, and I think they're like, I want to say they're in their 70s or 80s, but I believe they will endlessly talk about the things, the plans they had. Yeah, they're like, this was going to be a whole thing, and this is what the Burt Reynolds guy was going to do, and this is what there's like websites. There are at least 2 or 3 deep dive websites where you could find out a lot of good Star Chaser stuff.
If you like Rock and Rule, I haven't seen that.
But, Rock and Rule.
But if you like the Lord of the Rings Ralph Bakshi stuff, or like Fire and Ice, or any of those things, like this is perfect. Yeah,
you definitely need Star Chaser. Is that like
it's a better Star Wars movie than Last Jedi?
Oh, absolutely.
Or Force Awakens.
Oh my god! If they put the budget of the Force Awakens on that movie, it would be like intense. Like it's. There's you're right. They had a very limited. You could see there was
By the way, this is a cartoon.
Oh my god, that's not been explained until now. I mean, probably should have led with that.
Yeah. I mean, we sort of did with the rotoscope thing, but like that
just to be
would have had to have been
this is a cartoon.
Perceived that it was
this is a cartoon.
This is an animated film.
The sound of people turning the podcast off. That's what that sound is right now. Nobody. Like,
okay, bye.
That's all I need to know. These guys are permanently unsubscribed to.
Nope. In fact, negative.
Blocked.
Never show me anything about these guys ever again.
Oh my god, that's so like. Yes, it is a cartoon. It is a cartoon. And that, like I said, that was when so it's in '85. I'd been 17, and I would have. I'd
have been 2.
Yeah, you'd have been 2, but I saw that, and that was 3D at the time. It was 3D with the glasses. Then they had a non 3D version of it.
Is there a 3D version that you can?
Yes,
watch with
there
the glasses
probably
then?
is. It's got the old.
Yes, the red and blue.
Yeah,
yeah.
But it was
Gator's nose a paper cut.
That's why there's those scenes. Like if you go back and watch it, the swamp and the ship flying, there's a lot.
There's a lot of POV shots too of inside the like Star Tours kind of thing.
Yeah,
you see like lasers coming out, and
that was because of that. Yeah, and also that you notice there's a lot.
It played really well without it.
Yeah, so imagine that with kind of that 3D isn't the best 3D, but it does have that sense of depth of like there's scenes where they're flying out of the tunnel and the enemy ship is chasing them. Those are
I watched frickin' Hondo on cable.
Oh my god!
With 3D glasses we got from the gas station,
Really?
and I thought that was amazing.
Oh yeah, you'll love this. If you could find the 3D of this, I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
Yeah,
undoubtedly. There's not a huge. It isn't quite like Army of Darkness size, but it's like a fan group that's definitely into.
I don't doubt it. When this hit a lot of spots for me.
Yeah,
I mean, there's cheesy, corny as hell shit in here.
Yes.
Where you can tell it's like technically not good.
Yes.
Like in delivery or acting or direction or but the stuff it hits and just the content too.
Yeah.
Like the space barbarian guy that like frees the slaves and fights a Dark Lord and all of that stuff is done like remarkably well.
Yeah, again, if you just look at the plotting and the ideas, they're all solid. Like they're all really, really solid.
It's like a weirder, more violent He-Man Star Wars crossover.
I got a very He-Man vibe from it. Like
even just some of the designs too. They looked like what's She-Ra's villain? The weird bat guy, like
oh god, that's right. She got this weird bat. Do you have a sucker face or something?
He's got like weird fish ear things, and they all have a symbol on there. It's like a red and black thing, and it's similar with Star Chaser.
Yeah, I watched the hell out of He-Man, and I remember She-Ra. I was like, oh, this is much better. This is a well drawn version of He-Man. Like it's all you could tell they had a little more budget.
Yes,
but I never got enough into that. I did not watch that. But did you ever watch Visionaries? Visionaries.
Were they the guys with the hologram?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were freaking awesome.
Yes, Visionaries were cool.
They were really cool. They were like amazingly good. But yes, Star Chasers. Definitely recommend it. I'm glad you liked it.
I was viewing for me.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it.
I want like a Blu-ray special edition.
They have it. I think there's a Blu-ray out there. Okay. Yeah.
I'll be right back.
I know.
Amazon.com.
I believe there is a Blu-ray. You have to look. Maybe there is or maybe there isn't. But it was. There's a again, there's a very vocal cult out there for that movie. And when I remember it came and went, that would have been the summer of Back to the Future.
After it ruined the company that made it.
Ruined the company. They never made another movie again. That it just got destroyed in the box office. I think it probably came out around the time of Back to the Future, which absolutely destroyed everything that year.
Even Marty McFly vests couldn't save Star Chaser.
They had no chance. Like if it came out after Back to the Future, because all I know is 1985 was Back to the Future, and I think there were some other movies that came out, but Star Chaser was on the back of every comic book for a while, Marvel comic.
Ah, okay.
And it was like it had.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's where I saw it.
That's where you would have seen it. Would have had
even as a kid, I would read comics that were like a decade old.
Yeah, and it would have had a picture of that guy, the Darth Vader guy, like looking, and then it would have had 3 ships in the background. Yeah,
bad guy.
3 ships, and it had a palace and the
guy with
kid. The
space sword.
Space sword. I think the Han Solo guy was subjugated. I don't even know if he was in any of the ads in the sense of that.
Yeah.
They had his ship.
He did look weird.
Yeah, I think somebody's like, we don't want an old ass Burt Reynolds looking guy on this. Because as a kid, I would have been like,
he's got like a receding hairline.
Yeah, I didn't like. I thought I go, why is he in this? Like he's like somebody's dad or something.
He's like really off-putting at first.
Or what is it, sand snake? I don't know, water snake.
I don't know, water snake.
It's just like I like.
You're on your own, water snake. I like the character.
Yeah, I liked his.
I like that archetype.
Yes, he's trying to do the Han Solo. I don't know, kid, just relax, like that kind of thing. But
the grizzled rogue.
Yes, And he had there was a lot of moments of he got that Han Solo business down where he's just sort of it's the sense of he knows what's about to happen, and he's sort of already
he read people. He'd
read the situation. Yeah, the Millennium Falcon's sitting in a dock. Han Solo's there eating a cheeseburger. He looks up. He sees 2 stormtroopers walk by, and he's like, "All right, we got to go." And they were like, "Why?" He goes, "Just trust me. I know those guys."
It's about to get
it's about to get hairy. He's like, the guns come down, start shooting, and he's just like, everybody's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Trust me. We're really got to go." And he did a lot of that in this movie. I thought, oh, that's pretty awesome. It's a cool character.
And the pacing and the writing was decent. It wasn't. There wasn't any what the fuck are they doing? I don't understand.
No, they were always moving forward, doing something.
Yeah, going to a new location, new characters introduced, and what was funny was immediately after he meets the princess character.
Yes.
She falls in love with him.
Yes.
Madly in love.
Madly
I'm
in love.
sacrificing my life for you.
Yes. It was
all of a sudden they have this connection, and it's.
Well, didn't he imagine his old girlfriend was her for a second? He had kind of a flashback or something.
They crash, and he gets thrown out of the thing, and she finds him all bloody and beaten up and takes him back to her chambers and nurses him back to health, and he wakes up and he sees the dead girlfriend's face.
Yes.
On her face. And they're drawn pretty similarly. It's 1980s Space Babe.
Sure. Well, she looked like Tila to me from. She kind of had
both girls.
Both girls look like Tila from He-Man. That's a He-Man reference, and that's
He-Man reference.
His
spoilers, He-Man.
Yeah. Spoiler: Skeletor never got him.
Spoilers: He-Man will rule the day.
You'll rule the day, He-Man. It's also spoilers: He-Man never got Skeletor.
No, yeah.
It works both ways.
Battle went on for eternity.
Yeah.
On Eternia.
On Eternia. And what was the Cowardly Lion's name?
Oh, Cringer.
Was it Cringer?
Yes, Cringer, who becomes Battle Cat.
Okay, yeah. I love how Cringer starts. Don't hit me. I
don't know, He-Man.
Oh, that's right. He did have that goofy voice.
He had a weird. I don't know if that's exactly the voice.
But he had But when he went Battle Cat, he was definitely not that attitude.
No, Battle Cat got fucking fierce.
Yeah, Battle Cat was like,
jump on top of me, He-Man. Let's kill them.
Battle Cat had didn't he have an armored helmet on?
Yeah, he had a horn on it. And stuff,
yeah, Battle Cat was wicked.
He was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love Battle Cat.
He was all about the business of killing.
Yeah, Battle Cat you didn't want to mess with.
No, he got shit done.
Didn't Cringer? I feel like Cringer had a vest on for some reason, like he's Pete Puma or something.
Like a service dog.
Yeah, it's kind of. I feel like Cringer he had a little. I almost want to say he had a little Robin Hood hat on, but I know he didn't.
I don't think he had the Robin Hood.
Because he seemed
missed opportunity for He-Man.
Like a service dog.
Let's look at Cringer. I don't think he did though. I think he was kind of naked.
I feel like he had a vest of some sort.
No, he didn't. Yeah, he was.
Was he just naked?
Yeah, he was just.
Oh, there he is.
Green with.
Oh, look, he's all upset. Look, he's cringing. Oh, look, there he's cringing on He-Man.
He didn't want to do anything until He-Man pulled his sword out. And
until he hit him with the.
That was the weird thing too. Is Cringer wasn't acting.
Yeah,
when he was the Frady cat kind of thing, but when It was like he became a different entity.
Yeah, it was like he did a Miracle. Did you ever read Miracle Man, the Atom thing?
Mm-mm.
Miracle Man supposed that the transformation from one character to another, like in other words, from Clark Kent to Superman or Battle Cat to Cringer, switched actual bodies. Like it was a different person.
Okay.
In other words, in a alternate universe,
Yes.
sitting like a closet of clothes are endless rows of
People.
Superbeal. Right.
Okay.
It's a storage room. And
Yes.
when you go,
And they're sleeping, or
when you say the when you say the magic word like Shazam,
Yeah.
or when you say Battle Cat Whammy Jammy,
yes,
Cringer,
I have the power.
yeah, Battle Cat's just chilling there, just absolutely in a coma, just waiting.
Yeah.
And when you do the switch, Cringer goes to that dimension,
And he goes to sleep.
He goes to sleep, and Battle Cat comes out.
Oh, that's weird.
And as long as you keep, this is I mean the way they presented it inside Miracle Man was this way. They said, and that's what I imagined Cringer was, because I didn't understand it either. I was like, this is two different cats. This is not
Two different cats. What are you trying to pull?
Yeah, it's not. Cringer is not suddenly brave. He's an actually different person. And then when I read Miracle Man, I'm like, oh, that's what's happening. So Cringer goes to sleep in the other dimension. He's like flash frozen, and Battle Cat's out. So as long as Cringer and Battle Cat share about the same amount of time in existence,
Yes.
they age about the same.
Okay.
But what happened? What happened?
Oh, weird.
What happened in Miracle Man, which was like a ripoff on Shazam or Mr. Marvel,
Okay.
is the Clark Kent guy had the power to switch to Miracle Man. He one day decided never to be Miracle Man again. He kind of forgot about it.
Oh,
so
okay.
he aged. He got into his middle age, almost 50.
Uh-huh.
And then he remembered one day he switched again. But when he switched, his alter ego was really young because he never aged.
He's in stasis.
He was in stasis all that time. So while this guy got to be in his 40s, Miracle Man was still in his 20s.
Yes.
Superman, basically.
Okay.
And so Superman shows up, bazang, and it's a different guy. Like he has, I think they did a mind switch. In that sense, I shouldn't say that it was like it was the same guy's mind, but he goes, why is my body suddenly so young? But I imagine Cringer just went into stasis, like he's just chilling in some weird dimension, like kind of waiting.
He-Man got a lot weirder.
Yeah,
in this conversation.
Yeah, He-Man. What happened? Wait, He-Man was Adam.
Prince Adam.
Prince Adam.
Yes,
but he wore like
he's
a pink
obviously
shirt.
the same guy.
He was a pink shirt, right?
Yes, he had pink. There you go.
Pink and
there he is down there.
A pink shirt with a weird vest kind of thing. Cringer. And he's got
Yeah.
purple pants too. Wow.
Yeah. All He-Man did was dress down.
Yeah, He-Man was like, I'm gonna go
Just a
swimming.
belt on his.
Yeah, he's like, I got a belt on my chest.
Yeah.
And then he was the only one that did a transfer.
Still the same
yeah, still the same
jacked
big
guy. Yeah.
But he didn't. Did you ever see the Origins of Skeletor? That's another video. That's a good one where he gets his face melted off.
Yeah, and that was in the newer.
Yeah, I
He-Man
I was like,
series.
That was rather dark though.
Yeah.
He's like, ah!
Yeah,
It's
there were characters that actually died and shit in the newer one.
Yeah, it's crazy. Did you
Got closer to Star Chaser.
Yeah, it did. They're like, that's what we need to do. Those guys had it right. Did you ever see the new Thundercats? That was a few years ago.
No, I didn't. I completely missed that one.
Terrible. It was awful.
Okay,
from
maybe
the
that's why I
get-go.
missed it.
Well animated, but not very good. Like I didn't like.
I know
at
it didn't last long at all. I remember the
because it was
announcement
awful.
when
Yeah,
they were
it
like,
was
"We're going to
terrible.
bring Thundercats back, sight beyond sight."
Sight beyond sight. They had all the new characters, all the characters reintroduced. They had the new Lion-O, and the best part was the dad for Lion-O in the new one was the voice of Lion-O from the first one. So the dad, Lion-O's dad, is big lion dude, like fucking Mufasa.
Doesn't he die in the?
I think he dies in that first episode of that. Like, so but he comes back and it's like, it's his dad, like his actual dad. And everybody's like, hey, that's Lion-O. Like, he's like, son, blah, blah, blah. He's saying some things and he says a few things that kind of cue you into like sort of a callback to the original Thundercat. I was like,
that's like what they're doing with Flash.
yes, like Barry, it's the Flash from the 90s. You're like,
Yes.
oh, that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
They did an awesome thing.
I
there.
got to confess, I didn't really like Thundercats that much.
The first one?
I liked when I was a kid.
Very corny.
It was like worse than He-Man, I thought.
Yes.
But I liked the design of everything.
The
and
animation's
the toys
incredible.
And the first two episodes, it was like a two-parter or something, or like an extended.
where
Lion-O's
they a little
have to
kid.
leave their.
Yeah, and he becomes like.
I liked that, but all the episodes were just. And I hated Snarf.
Snarf's terrible.
Yes.
But the Thundercats, I think the one thing that admitted into culture was the Thundercats intro, which everybody hands down agrees.
The intro was the most badass thing ever.
There is almost nobody that can. It is. I'm gonna say I don't think it's the best. I'll fight people on this, but I do think it is. It's certainly. I'll say that as a popular culture thing, it is the best animated intro ever. Period. There'll never
and it's gorgeous too.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's like
nothing in the show looks like that.
Nothing in the show looks. And you think if you watch that, you're like, I will watch whatever show they're going to show after this. Like,
and then you do, and then you're disappointed.
Yeah.
And then you put Star Chaser.
Now a show that had the awesome intro. That there's a couple shows that I felt followed through with had an awesome intro. There was Mighty Orbots, which I thought had a great intro also.
I don't know what that is.
Go Mighty Orbots. Visionaries had a good intro.
Yeah.
Didn't have a great intro, but had a good one. The best one though, my personal favorite, which I rank right up there with Thundercats, and I might even put it ahead, is the Bionic 6.
I don't know that one.
Bionic 6. Doo-doo-doo-doo. You should watch that. That is so good. Bionic 6.
What I thought did a good job of like a 1-to-1. It's like this.
Yeah.
You watch the intro. This is what you're gonna get. Was the X-Men.
Yeah.
Animated
Well,
show.
the X-Men was like,
Or at Batman too. The
yeah,
Batman
they deliver.
animated
Yeah,
series.
you. This is the intro, and this is what you're getting. Like, you still got Bionic 6 up. Bionic 6.
Oh dear.
We are together.
Look at them.
Oh yeah, go to videos. You got videos. Oh yeah, sweet man. Look at the
There
videos.
they are.
Go to Visiosies. We're gonna watch it right now.
We're gonna watch Bionic 6. This one intro.
Bionic
Bionic
that's
6.
The theme. No, you got to get to the intro. That down. That third one down. That one.
Okay.
There you go. This ranks with everything. Oh wait, stop that. It's the wrong one.
Okay.
It's strangely odd. Like it's.
What about the other one?
That
then?
one. Well, they're on there. The Wayne's, Kenny Wayne's Blaine. Kenny Wayne's Blaine's. Cody.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh God.
We got an ad.
What do we have an ad for?
Who
There we
knows?
go.
And then we're trying to watch Bionic 6 intro.
Yes, Bionic 6. Yes.
Do.
This is the dopest thing.
This is already pretty good. I'm gonna turn it up.
Yeah. As far as we can be.
He's got a Reed Richards thing going there. Yeah.
Look at these guys. Dude, I watched the hell out of it.
I never saw that. The animation's great too.
Fucking fantastic. It's the shows is good too. Look at that guy. Sport One.
This is like Starhawks or
Oh yeah, it's fucking amazing. Karate One. Mother One. Bionic One. Look at this shit. This has nothing to do with the show, but it's awesome. Look,
this
you got
doesn't have anything to do
This
with
does, but it's just all scenes that they made up for this.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. They're not pulled from an episode.
Yeah, no,
or
they're
anything.
just doing awesome stuff. Look at this crap. It's all well drawn.
Might have to watch this.
Oh man, you cannot go wrong with Bionic 6. It's so good. It has the
Oop. Oh, and then it tried to play the Thunderhawks intro.
but it's so good. That Bionic 6 the animation is that good.
Yeah.
But Bionic 6 the Bionic 1 is the dad. He's like the Reed Richards guy, and he's the first Bionic man or the first Bionic creation, and then all the family is adopted. Like he's got his wife, and then everybody else is adopted, and they all have like bionic powers. But they don't ever say they have this bionic juju thing. They punch their wrists. That's what they show in the beginning.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So they go bajoom, and then they activate their bionics, and you're like,
It's like the Wonder Twins ring.
yeah, but you can't. I never figured out. They're like, oh, I'm running out of bionics, and it's like, wait, that doesn't make any sense.
It's a unit of measurement.
It's a gallon of bionics you have in you. Like what?
I'm very poor in bionics, if that's the case.
Yes, so they have like a thing that they do where they activate their bionics, but then they also have regular superpowers like super strength and stuff like that, or at least endurance. But like they all can like run low on bionics because they'll have these episodes where they're like, we're almost out of bionic energy, and you're like,
They're like batteries. Or something.
yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like I don't get it. Like because they show him the Bionic 1. You think he's like an android at some point, or at least he's partially android.
Bionic 1 is the dad, or
The dad.
Okay.
And Mom 1 is the mom, and that's the.
Her name is Mom 1.
I believe, and that's her code name. I don't
Okay.
know, or like Victoria or something. Like, I don't know what her real name is, but they all have regular names, and they give.
Okay.
I think they give out all their regular names, but they all have their code names. And Sport 1 is the guy with the baseball cap. He's got magnetic powers, and he
Okay.
hits things with his bat, which is a good power.
That's a good power to have.
Yeah, Karate 1 is
They hit
does
things with your bat.
Yeah, Karate 1 does judo.
Okay.
The chick is I
Karate 1 does not do karate though. does judo.
Yeah, karate. I think he does karate and judo.
Okay.
And then the chick is a runner. She runs super fast. And the other guy is the brains / heavy, the strong guy.
Okay.
But they're all, and it's a cool show. It's
The heavy duty of the.
Yeah, he's kind of, when you watch the show, the Scarab, Dr. Scarab, I think that's the bad guy's name. But
Okay.
he's like Mike Myers doing Dr. Evil.
Oh no.
But so it's really over the top, ridiculous. Like
Skeletor or something.
I think it's the voice of the Claw.
Oh,
I think it's that guy.
Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, if you hear him talk, he's like, "So, Chopper, go get me."
Gadget.
Not quite that. No,
Okay,
it's a guy that talks like he's like, so, he's like voodoo one. He goes, do that voodoo that you do so well. So he's got like this ridiculous,
Yeah.
and they add these ridiculous lines.
jazzy.
To the whole, yeah, it's kind of these jazzy, but he's like this big fat guy with a doctor thing on his. He's just weird. The whole show is weird. It's very well animated though, very well animated. And
Yeah, if it looks anything like that intro, it's no slouch. Then,
dude, when you see the one where they get holed up in a museum, so they get holed up in a
spoilers
museum.
for Bionic 6.
Another 1985 show. If you haven't seen it now, you're really gonna.
Is this show from the 80s?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's old. It came around this time as Thundercats. They get holed up in a museum, and I don't know why, but all the displays, all the creatures are bionic robots, and so they start chasing them.
Bionic sarcophagus and.
Yeah, there's like bionic. They start getting chased by animals.
Okay.
And they punch one of them, and it like blows into like android parts, like robotic parts.
Yes.
And they're like, "Oh, this whole place is bionics." And then this whale falls off the chains, and it starts chasing them around.
Oh my God.
And it's like
Flying at him or
it's like bouncing around on the ground. It's huge.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
the size of a bus. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a worm. It's going after him. But there's like bionic rhinos and stuff. And it is one of the most over the top episodes I've ever seen in my life because it's like Night in the Museum with bionic robots.
Yes.
And
and people with superpowers fighting them.
Yes.
In the museum.
and then the bionics, they're like, we're running low on bionics, so they run into this room to like hole up, and it's one of those.
Get more bionics.
Yeah, they're like, let's go, so we gotta get some breather room. So they race into this room, and it's this classic scene of like they go in and they're like, they close the door, and they're like, they're looking at each other like, what are we gonna do? We don't have much time to do it. And he's like,
Or bionics.
yeah, and then they show like over their shoulders behind them, they ran into the Civil War room, and there's all these
no.
old cannons and
Yes.
stuff, and there's like some World War I tanks,
Yes.
and they're like, wait a minute, and they go, let's go, and so the next scene is all the robotic monsters break the wall down, and there's like, and they're all, they look like a whale, they look like a giraffe,
right.
They're in their regular look, and they're all like, all the bionic guys are all the bionic 6 team is like loaded up with cannons. They're like, fire! And they just fire these
muskets and shit.
Yeah, and they fire like a million things, like muskets and cannons and tanks. And there's this huge explosion, and the dust settles. And they're like, "Did we get him?" And the dust settles, and all they did was just blow the skin off everything. So
Okay, so now their robot parts are exposed.
Now they're robots, and they're like, "Ah!"
Now they're T-800.
Yeah, they're all T-800. It's awesome. Like it's just this over the top moment where
Terminator rhinos. And
they're fighting Terminator rhinos and jaguars. And
that
stuff.
sounds insanely difficult to.
It's insane. That's what I'm
Produce.
saying. It's an insane one where they're in the museum, and I'm just going. I remember watching as a kid, going, "This is incredibly."
Okay, what are we putting in this episode? Everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'd think that like they would have done maybe one robotic rhino in the entire episode. They did like an entire museum of robotic
Right.
stuff, and
Plus the World War One.
and
war
it's all
tech.
fantastically animated. I mean, now mind you, when I say fantastic, it isn't on the production level of like an average 2018 level show now, because those
Well,
are
of course. Yeah.
ridiculous. Like those have the benefit of almost 30 years of technology. The one that I'm referring to, like for 80s, it's quite well done. For today's technology, it would not. It would be at the low end of stuff.
Better than Gem.
Yeah, truly outrageous. Which was truly outrageous. Yeah, it's definitely better than
Spoilers
Gem.
for Gem.
Spoilers for Gem. It's truly outrageous.
Yeah.
Did you see the Gem movie?
No, that looked
Really
terrible.
bad.
Though.
It was terrible.
Oh, it looked
I
so
saw it.
bad.
It was very bad. It was not even. I wouldn't even rank it truly outrageous. Which
No,
would
we're
have
not.
been- which would have been a good ranking. Did you ever see Josie and the Pussycats?
I did. Yeah.
Quite good. I thought that was a good movie.
Oh, the movie? No, I didn't see the movie of Josie and the Pussycats. Okay.
It's
But that one looked like the cartoon.
Yes.
When you looked at that, it was like, it's real people now
Yeah.
instead of. A
and there's a
cartoon.
lot of good. There's a good twist. The problem is you cannot buy it anymore.
Spoilers for Josie and the Pussycats.
But Josie and the Pussycats is not a definitely can't. You should see that. That's a goodie
Yeah.
if you can find it. It's very
Yeah.
hard to find. I think the fact that it's called Pussycats didn't bode well for its replayability for kids.
Yeah, in modern times.
Yeah. No, not doing good.
Nope.
Nope. So it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you want to wrap it up for?
I think so. I
feel
think
like
that's
we
a good,
I feel like we leave it on the gem and
nice, good, positive.
yes, leave it on a positive note.
Yeah.
Go watch Gem.
Bionic 6.
Bionic 6 for sure.
Don't watch Gem the movie.
Nope. Save yourself some time. See
Yeah.
Josie and the Pussycats, the movie, very good.
Watch Star Chaser.
Star Chaser, Legend of Orin.
Live stream your stuff.
Yes, and get your Xbox signed up stuff quick.
Yeah, get your dev kits.
Get your
from
dev kit signed up.
Microsoft.
It's very good. It's
Yeah.
important.
So you're live streaming now somewhat regularly, or the plan is to live stream
Yes.
somewhat regularly on twitch.tv/DonleyTime.
Timely time, yes. And maybe we'll put in this video the link to the Zazmo beta sign up if people want to sign up for that. We are allowed.
Yeah, you got that going on too,
We
the
got
beta
that going
sign up.
on, yeah. But yeah, we
Spoilers. Zazmo beta sign up.
Spoilers. But yes, we'll be streaming on Mondays and Thursdays right now. That's the plan. 6
Yeah.
to 8. 6 Central. 6
Okay.
Central to 8. So, yeah. And you, what about you? What about your schedule?
I am live streaming on Twitch
Yep.
at Tobor Prime.
Tobor Prime.
And yeah, wishlist Savage the Shard of Gosen on Steam.
Yes, there'll be
If
a
you'd
link
be so kind.
There'll be a link in the doobly-doo in the bottom.
Yes, and buy Boss 101 while you're there
Yes.
on Steam as well. Yeah, I think that's it.
That is it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go with Star Chaser.
Star Chasers, Legend of Orin. Very
Have a good one, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. See you.